I declare that my current chapter is not my conclusion. Perhaps your story is in the middle of some painful paragraphs, but remember, this too shall pass. These paragraphs are merely part of a larger story that God is writing. Our declaration is this: I will not live as if I do not know the end of the story. I know how it ends. Every tear will be wiped away, and every broken thing will be made beautiful. No matter how defeated you feel or how hopeless your situation may seem, your story is not over, and the chapter you are in is not your conclusion. God is still God. God has not lost his touch. So hold on to this chapter. Even if it is hard and heavy, it has not come to stay. It will pass. Listen, even if you cannot see God clearly in your story, he seizes you. One day, perhaps even on this side of heaven, you will look back on this chapter and see that God was with you. Every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered, was heard in the shadows. Trust him with your story. There is no cry that goes unheard by God. He sees you, he hears you, he knows you, and he understands what you are going through, what you have gone through, and what you are facing in the darkest valley. He knows your grief, and he knows your joys, the things that delight you, the things that scare you, and what makes you anxious. God has the power and strength to give you a new course for your life, to lead you out of a land that feels destructive, hopeless, or barren. He declares, I have a new land. I can take you to a better place. Although you do not choose the challenges that come your way, you do choose what grows within you and who you become on the other side. Remember, the wilderness is where God prepares us to live in freedom as his people. I will not be defined by what happens to me or by what has been done to me. I will not be bound by others' expectations. I am held in the hands of the one who turns graves into gardens, who takes the wounded and transforms them into warriors. Just because you are in a valley does not make you a victim. My confidence is not in my strength, it is in his sovereignty. I am not saying my path is easy, but I am saying that my God is faithful. I may feel a little lost at times, but I trust that my God does not fail. We are not characters lost in a tragedy. We are children of the King. I may not understand every delay, but I trust his timing. Though the season is hard, his purpose will prevail, and new purpose will arise from the pain. Let the setbacks come. Let opposition rise. Let hatred and even the building of gallows occur, because we serve a God who sees it all. He does not sleep. He does not slumber. He turns orphans into queens and persecution into promotion. Every setback is a setup for a louder testimony, a deeper victory, and a higher purpose. Every setback will pass, and his purpose will prevail. So I choose to live with that truth. I will not shrink back in fear. I will not cave under pressure, nor obsess over how others respond. I refuse to settle for a safe and comfortable life. Instead, I will step forward with boldness, even when the stakes are high and the path is unclear. I will not rush ahead in my own strength or arrogance. I will have the courage to slow down, to ask for help, and to invite prayer. I will live with space in my life to hear his voice. When he says, move, I will move. When he says, speak, I will speak. I may not be perfectly positioned, nor the most powerful, but I will be prayerful. I will live my life for such a time as this. One day, when our stories come to pass, may our stories, like Esther's, be accounts of those who chose courage over comfort, faith over fear, and significance over security, choosing prayer over panic. Our God is in the shadows, keeping watch over his own, and his purpose will always prevail. God knows what you are going through. He knows your circumstances, exactly what you have, and exactly what you need. He is the sovereign God. You might think, "Oh, I have blown it so much. God can never use me." But if you have erred, simply ask for forgiveness, repent, and wait for his next word. I promise, he is not done with you yet. He has a purpose for you. He will take what is wrong and weave it together into his plan, making it right. God is not finished with you. I came here to encourage you, to lift you up and speak hope into your life. Know that you have not made too many mistakes. You are not beyond God's reach. You are not at a point where Jesus has written you off. You are in the perfect position for God to do something greater than you ever imagined. It is in our failure, our weaknesses, and our struggles that we feel the true weight of God's grace, mercy, and love. I have my identity in God. I know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and when I am weak, his grace is sufficient. Spend time with God, and he will show you glimpses of who you truly are. You are not defined by labels, be it a drug addict, an alcoholic, a failure, or a loser. God has a better plan. Your story is not over. Perhaps a divorce marked the end of a chapter, but that is not the end of your story. Whatever chapter has ended, it is not the end of your life. God has a greater purpose, and right now he is working on you. He will give you the grace and the power to handle it. He will never place on you more than you can bear. Failure only occurs when you refuse to get back up. You cannot wallow in shame or guilt forever. Get up. We all struggle, fall, and fail because we are human and prone to weakness. It may seem like it's over, like the clock has timed out, but with God, there is always another play. God says, "I love you, and I am not done with you. I'm not throwing you out. I have not given up on you." Even if right now everything looks like a mess and nothing makes sense, know this: the master is not finished with the masterpiece. God can take the mess and turn it into a masterpiece. It may look chaotic now, but God is not finished. Do not get off the master potter's wheel until he is finished. Trust that the potter sees what you are going to become before he even began. I will stay on this wheel to see the end, because he knows what he is doing. He does it because he loves you and because he is not going to throw you out. God still has a plan. His work is not finished with you, and he can bring beauty from ashes. Stay on the wheel. Let God finish. If this message spoke to your heart, remember, your current chapter is not your conclusion. Trust in his promises, for God is still working, and he will bring beauty from every struggle.